All right, what do we got here? This is pretty good. I think it's a no-brainer. So we're going up against Kick. It's got the giant spec, which is the hardest. I think it's the hardest spec to play against as the tank spammer because he's got access to the Vulcan. He's got access to the fort. Also the melter, which is good into worms and rhinos, which we will use to counter the Vulcan. So likely we're going to be going for some worms this game because he might be going for Vulcans on round 2, if I had to guess. Okay, it's I like seeing the tanks because we want to get into a tank mirror because we know we can win against the tanks. I also like seeing his techs. They're not carry techs. They're just like weird. No, I guess this is like a all in. The damage sharing tech is kind of like a cheese tech. It's not really scary. We can easily shut this off with our EMP if we need to. Maybe we keep this cannon around for a bit. I don't know. Like if it's gonna shoot, let's see how much damage it does. It doesn't do that much. I guess it killed like 2 hounds and 1 tank. So I guess that's not super impressive. Maybe we sell out of this rapid fire cannon first. Marksmen are just so good. You know, I used to hate the marksmen because they're pretty garbage compared to Phoenix, but with the tanks, they're so good. I don't think we need any of this. So we'll probably just have to sell this next round. We'll go for 1 tank and just 2 chaff. Now we're going to experiment with only using crawlers because we can still get exploited by missiles. So in this situation, we would probably need something like this and this. Let's just see here. So you can missile something from here, meaning you probably want something like here. And then, so let's say you have this. So you can't really missile here. You can still missile here. Which means you're gonna need something like, you know, something like here. Guess we could just borrow for a second just to see how the missiles work. So if he has this, he's not gonna be really gonna be able to missile here. You try to missile here, but it's not gonna work. And then you could try to missile here, it's not gonna work. So I do like our positioning here. Arguably, the Fangs could be better because they don't like run in so quick, but they are less in number. And they can be exploited because he could just put the missile like slightly delayed. Now in this situation, we're not actually moving forward, so the Fangs could be good in terms of missile defense. But I fear for our opponent, he's not looking so good right now. He needs to get those Vulcans immediately. Alright, the Farseer's kind of good. The Rhino's good because he might go into the Vulcan. So it just depends if we think if we think he's gonna go into the Vulcan. The Phantom Ray could be a really interesting cheese just to get him to respond. I'm kind of tempted to just go for that and just kind of make him respond to this. All right. I'm not sure how good of a play this is because the Rhinos are good into the Vulcan. However, you usually want level 2 Rhinos, and I think we're going to try to play a Worm comp. Okay, so it's actually Raidens. However, since he's giant spec, he's not really committed into the Raiden. He can still pivot, but I feel like you don't want to pivot out of something because you're going to lose the deployment value. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Raiden does not counter the mass tanks. Raiden loses to the mass tanks, so for me, it feels like this is our, we've already won the game, but maybe we shouldn't be so confident here. It looks like that the Phantom Ray did nothing, and somehow the Phantom Ray, I mean, it didn't do it didn't do nothing, but it didn't do that much. I think we have to sell this now. Missile orbital bombardment is just too good. I think we have to go for that. And we'll sell this. I think there might be a Raiden or something, or you know, there's going to be something here. Maybe we try to cheese something. Maybe just try to cheese him with this and to see what he, you know, make him put something there. I think that's the goal. You want him to put stuff here because then it distracts from the main army. Mech Rage is going to be what we need here. I think we just go for 2 more chaff and a shield. Mainly just want to protect our marksman. Not sure if this actually protects them though. Like it may not really protect them, so we might just go for something like this. Okay, so this is kind of good. Hopefully we can clear this before they die. It's kind of close. Oh, that's not good. So now we're going to have to keep that around for a round. It's going to have time to respond to it. Actually didn't go for the bombardment, which is interesting. You'd imagine that he has a pretty good value. But are we going to lose to the Vulcan now because we don't have any anti-air? Okay. At least we keep the shield. Alright, this isn't that concerning. The only problem is that this has to be, we can't sell this right away. Or maybe we call his bluff, because he's going to put something here to deal with it. And that means we could just sell right away. The Vulcan's kind of good for him, but he doesn't need it. For us, I think it's just going to be a sell. You could argue that the arc lights are good, but I mean, so for us, do we sell out of the Vulcan 300? Now the Vulcan's going to be quite good in case he wants to do some kind of like cheat, like if he wants to go kind of crazy with the crawlers, like having the Vulcan unlocked is not bad. So I do not mind potentially like doing something like this. Like now we could put it here for a round. I mean, it's probably not that amazing to have it here. Maybe we just sell it right away, but it is at least unlocked. Just need to keep building the tanks a little bit more because the tanks is what's going to enable our marksmen to be effective. And we will lose to some kind of wasp play, but having Mustangs is probably something we're going to need later. Anyways. Let's see if he can kill these Typhoons if he upgrades this. Okay, he kind of just ignores it. He's still okay. He's level 2 tower, so it's not that bad for him. The thing is that if he loses his chaff clear, and the crawlers just keep going in, then you know It's not great for him. We will upgrade to aerial spec next round. Haste module can be quite good onto maybe one of the marksmen. So, as promised, we'll go aerial spec. And maybe I don't know, maybe we put it on this guy. This he's done more damage. Just don't want him to move too forward. That could be potentially a mistake. Maybe it's better to just put it on like this guy. Because he's kind of out of position anyways. Alright. Imagine it's almost time for the Mustangs. Could have just built some more tanks though. It's mainly for our flank. I'm kind of worried about our flank a little bit. Guess just more crawlers. Go for speed, and we'll just keep this guy. He's, you know, he's gonna. I feel like it's just good to force them to respond to it. Okay, finally, he's responded to it. Still loses the pack of crawlers, so it wasn't horrible to keep it. Now, it might have been better to put the haste module onto the marksman in retrospect. The extra damage would be nice, but I think we're okay. It would be nice to have some more marksmen, but then the problem is, you know that the wasps are going to be coming. That's what we're weak to. We're also weak to a titan. Specifically the mountain with plating. The deployment barrier is interesting. We could redeploy this actually, but the fire is just too good. There's no way we don't go for the fire, but again, we're almost losing more chaff to the fire than we're actually clearing his chaff. Like he's got 1, 2, 3. You know, we have 1 million chaff here, so I'm actually, for the first time, I'm actually thinking we may not go for the fire. The problem, I don't know. Now the problem with this is you get some of his crawlers to come up and they don't go into the fire, so it's a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I don't love this play. I think I just prefer just to sell this. So now we cannot deploy the Mustangs this round because of the issue. So we're gonna have to throw down a couple shields so we don't get the fire directly. And I think just go for a couple more marksmen. Probably need to take range now into the marksman. Can go for an oil here. Alright, don't really know what to do here. Yeah, the fire was going to be here anyways. We were going to put our own fire here, so there's really no point in doing the fire. Now the Mustangs, now the Wasps do come out, and they have the shield, so this is going to be a nasty round for us. We did see this coming. But given how many tanks we have, I don't know if we can actually... We'll actually clear this up, because once we get the opponent's tower, things are going to start crumbling, but yeah, the Wasps were a really good shield. So we could consider Typhoons. Photon emission is kind of cool. Don't know if it does anything though. amplifying core can be quite good, maybe, but do you really need it? I think at this point it's just straight into the Mustangs. Should have built Mustangs already last round, but that's fine. Okay, so there's no fire anymore. Let's just line these up, so yeah, everything's lined up perfectly. We should sell out of something. But we don't have anything to sell out of, but we will need that temp range, so might even be worth selling out of like a tank or something. Think it's worth missiling. Okay. Yeah, we would ideally like to shield, but we had to we got the Mustangs. The double tech could have been might have been a mistake. In retrospect, I wonder if it would have been worth it just to build some shields so we don't lose 2 crawler packs, because that's going to be devastating. Okay. The wasps have more or less died. I think we're gonna win this here. It's gonna be hard for him to win, I think, because the wasps were just kind of like a 1-round cheese. And there you go. You can't really beat this composition with Raiden. It's not really a counter. The healing tanks were a nice touch, but I think you need I think you probably needed higher levels and maybe the link. And then if you have an unkillable tank line, then yeah, that would kind of work. You know, part of me wonders if the Titan would have worked for him. Right, so let's go for the photon. We're actually gonna sell out of um the Raiden, because honestly the Raiden's kind of useless. I mean, he needs like 10 times more with triple tech, and even then he would need something else. So let's just go for the mountain plating. We do have the EMP armor, which is going to help with the tank ability. And probably the beacon isn't too bad here. Just maybe we just beacon into a tower. Just go for a missile. Maybe we'll do this. So 3 of the marksmen have locked on. Not sure what happened to the other marksman. The thing is, the wasp cheese in the previous round was actually really, you know, was pretty much what he needed to do. And we had to respond to that with the Mustang. So this is kind of like the recounter to the Mustang. Now, I don't think he can win here, but that combo would have been pretty sick. Like, to win with the Wasp, then to win with the Mountain. Let's see how much HP we had there. Yeah, it wasn't enough to win, but still, like, that could have been a play. The previous round, we were probably also weak to the, to a mountain, but I'm not sure if we can get level 2 at this point. Fire, of course, is just too good for him. Kind of proud of ourselves for not, like, going for it, because usually we're the one going for the fire, but this is the one time that we actually didn't want the fire. Right. So I think the beacon is still kind of necessary. just go in and maybe like this. Yeah, with the extra oil, you could almost just throw down some more. This is going to be really good for the chaff clear situation. Is there anything to even missile? Maybe this? I still think the Wasp is actually a fairly good play here for him, but we're just looking at, like, if he could have done more damage, maybe with a mountain. I don't think he's doing that much more. 1700, so... Yeah, roughly the same. So in that situation, because it's the same damage, then the Wasp play is just a lot better. Now, besides the mountain, is there anything else you could have done there? Like, you went for the healing tank, and I kind of feel like the healing tank might have been... You know, what if he went healing and link, right? What if he did that? And just like kind of like, okay, he doesn't have money for it. That's the problem. That's the first problem. Maybe this needs to get sold. Okay, still there's not that much money for the healing and the link. So there's not enough space to link as well. I guess what you could do is you could just go for like a normal tank. And then like the healing tank. I mean the elite tank. And I'm really not sure how to link this, but let's just see if this actually accomplishes anything. Shield here. So the Mustangs get locked on to the healing tanks. That's going to be a pretty big issue. But it looks like some of them are still not locked on. But look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. This is unbelievable. I couldn't believe that worked. Okay, so and that's going to be that would have killed us right there. So this healing tank situation is crazy good actually into these tanks. If we don't click EMP. If we click EMP, we counter it, but then the problem is we lose to the Wasp. So we have to build Mustangs. So basically, I think what we could have done, like on our own end to prevent this. Man, this kind of makes me want to play Healing Sledge, but then I know that it's not, you know, supposedly high level because you just counter it with a melter, right? So from our perspective, we got to go EMP as a preemptive measure, and we just go for kind of like cheap Mustangs, and we put them in the back so they're more likely to so the question is, do you go range or do you go aerial spec? Range at least ensures that they do not walk in to the line of fire. So we're gonna need a shield. And I think go for the missile. with aerial spec, the Mustangs might be moving too far forward, so at least we keep them back, and they will still deal with the. They're only level 1 wasps. That they'll die pretty quick. So let's see how this works. Yeah, this is probably what we needed to have done. The heavy committed to the Mustangs was kind of a throw, almost. Because you don't need level 2 Mustang, and you don't need the aerial spec. I mean, you could need them later on, but you don't need them immediately, because who knows? Like, what if he starts selling out of the Wasp and just puts down a Titan, right? Or if he goes into the healing Sledge, which you know, he was halfway there. He was halfway there. Like, he almost, you know, he was almost able to counter this. I just want to try one more thing from the opponent. Like, does he even need healing? I mean, linked. You can imagine that the link, though, is really good. But maybe the healing on its own is kind of enough. That's what I'm wondering. We have to sell something. I think the arc light. Can we cover everything here? Nope. Okay, so we have this late Raiden, which maybe is not good. I feel like, though, if you have healing, you might as well have Link, because they're both a complement to each other. Plus, the Link gives you 120% HP, which on its own is already like a crazy buff. So I think, yeah, I think you need to link them and heal them. All right. Well, we learned a lot there from our own perspective. We're not going to go for these techs. We're not going to go for the a link and the heal. But it's good to know that we actually lose to it, because he only had like 2 tanks, and then all of a sudden, if you link them all together with 3 more, then you just lose crazy hard. And yeah, that's even the fact that it works better than a mountain with plating was something that I didn't realize, but it was good to know.